Hey everyone. Okay, so life update. I just got off of a diet. That diet it doesn't have a specific name, but they called it, they, meaning the people who paid me to go on this diet, in addition to other things to change my lifestyle for the month, is a Mediterranean plant forward diet. And I'll just read off to you real quick what exactly that entails. So, veggies and greens, great. Fruits and berries, apart from overripe bananas, um, also grapes, which I don't eat anyway, so it's fine. Those are just some foods. Um, the overripe bananas and grapes and honey were just some foods to consume less of, but foods for the diet that I followed, the Mediterranean plant forward diet, were veggies and greens like spinach, which I like, lettuce, broccoli, cauliflower, onions, asparagus, kale. I actually made my own kale chips. They came out alright. They would have come out better if I didn't oversalt them. Some other things I was allowed to eat were fruits and berries like apples, oranges, or tangerines, which I did like to eat a lot of. Um, the rest of these fruits, other than bananas, I wasn't really into like strawberries, kiwi, blueberries, pears, peaches. I don't really like eating those fruits. So I just basically ate bananas and tangerines a bunch. They also suggest legumes and nuts like lentils. We did have one night of lentil soup that I tried to make. It didn't come out the best, but it didn't taste bad. It just wasn't really a lentil soup. It was more like mashed lentils, which are kind of like mashed peas, but they're lentils. Also, chickpeas, which I do like, but we ended up not eating at all. Beans, we ate quite a few. Pumpkin seeds, no, I don't think I've ever had those. Peanuts, I had a lot of peanut butter. I didn't actually have a lot of like straight peanuts, although I did buy a tin of peanuts during the last days of my diet, which I still haven't gotten into, but definitely I will be snacking on them because I do like peanuts, but I love peanut butter. And sunflower seeds. I did not eat any of those. Some other things I could eat were whole grains, which I took full advantage of. That included whole grain pasta, and even though my fiance doesn't really like whole grain pasta as much as regular pasta, I was totally fine. I just love pasta and carbs in general. So I was having a blast with that. Whole grain bread, also good. And whole grain cereal and whole grain tortillas. I definitely took full advantage of still getting my carbs, but them being whole grain. And then lean protein, chicken breast. We ate some turkey. We did not eat any. Um, Tofu. We actually ate quite a bit of, and in fact, my fiance made a recipe like from scratch. We call it beefy tofu, and uh, I might end up shooting another video showing you how to make his beefy tofu. So, other than chicken, turkey, tofu, there was also lean ground beef that we could have. They didn't specify exactly what they meant by lean ground beef, so we just went with 80% so we weren't completely killing our grocery budget, but still trying our best to follow this diet. Eggs, we had quite a bit of. Salmon, we also did. Tuna, we had one night because where my fiance works at the grocery store, they accidentally got a shipped order of tuna. So they were able to sell it at a really good price. And we had tuna steak, and it was amazing. He seared it so well. Um, and we also had some teriyaki sauce with it. It was delicious. I do like tuna. I like seafood, but more like fish and eel, and less of lobster and crab. Um, yeah, tuna, trout, shrimp. They didn't say anything about lobster or crab, which is fine, because I don't eat those anyway. And then here's some of the foods other than yogurt that I don't really like to eat, but are good for this diet that I was following. Would be they call it right dairy and fermented foods. So kimchi, homemade sauerkraut, kefir. Which I looked up, but I still don't remember what that is. Um, and then yogurt with live bacteria. I do like eating yogurt, so no issue there. And then good fats like olive oil and avocados, which is great because I love both of those foods. Oh, kefir is a drink. Um, it's kind of like it's a fermented milk drink similar to a thin yogurt made from kefir grains, a type of mesophilic symbiotic culture, so like a bacteria. It's prepared by inoculating the milk of cows, goats, or sheep with kefir grains. That is interesting. Um, and the place of origin is North Caucasus, which it sounds Middle Eastern. Well, it's Eastern Europe. Okay. So that's where kefir is from and what it is. Never had it. I don't see myself eating it. But to each their own. And then some other foods that are for my diet, or the diet I was following last February, would be basil, parsley, cilantro, curry, paprika, cinnamon, turmeric, garlic, and cinnamon. And I'm sure other herbs and spices also apply. And then beverages like water and herbal tea. I basically just drink water. Although I had to also drink a whole bunch of milk with my protein powder that this study provided me with. So it was basically just water and milk. Water with some supplements that they provided me, like the green juice and probiotic supplement. The green juice I would drink every morning, and the probiotic supplement I would drink at night before bed. And my protein powder with milk, I would drink that with every dinner that I had. Now, the tough part for me was the foods that I had to avoid. So, no fast food, of course, no chips or convenience meals, or palm oil. That's the big one, and one that I actually broke not once but twice. But the one big time that I broke it was pretty bad because I ate a whole bag of those chips, and I thought those chips were okay because they were special root chips like cassava or yucca, if you know that kind of root. Um, Purple potato and yam or sweet potato, I believe. And I got those at Home Goods, I believe. I got them on clearance. Each of those bags were $2. And I thought it was okay because they weren't potato chips, but they were made with palm oil. So that one day that I ate a whole entire bag of those, yeah, I was just hoping that I didn't completely compromise the study with that day. And then moving on to foods I had to avoid were processed and fatty meats, which did change what I could bring to lunch because normally I'd been bringing ham and cheese sandwiches, so I couldn't eat bacon or ham or deli meats, salami, sausage, hot dogs, lamb, steak, or pork. Well, I don't get to eat steak much often, much less lamb. I can count on one hand how many times I've eaten lamb. Maybe like once or twice, more likely once. Anywho, refined carbs I could not eat, so white bread, biscuits, which I did miss, and I'm excited to get to eat again. White pasta, tortillas, white rice, corn products. And I did end up eating jasmine rice on some days, like with sushi and with some of our meals. But I was just thinking, like, white rice isn't that bad. Or jasmine rice, at least. But I don't know, for this diet, they tell me to avoid white rice, and that was something else I also broke, unfortunately. Now, the sugar and artificially sweetened beverages, I didn't have as much trouble avoiding. Really, the only sweet drinks that I like to drink most of the time are apple juice and sweet tea. Um, but I didn't have a huge craving for those kinds of drinks. For me, the cravings were more for chips, cookies, chocolate. And now, one of the foods that I could eat was completely unsweetened chocolate. And I did try that for the first time ever, 100% cacao chocolate. And it was definitely interesting. It felt very chalky in my mouth. I could still tell it was chocolate with the aftertaste, but there was absolutely no sugar. It's definitely not your average chocolate bar, that's for sure. So I think if you were to try 100% cacao chocolate for the first time, they suggest that you build up like the percentage. I just went straight in because I didn't have the time to because I was already in the diet. But the way for me to deal with that was basically just to eat it with fruit or cereal like Cheerios. And that definitely helps offset the intense flavor and bitterness of that 100% cacao chocolate. All right. Moving on to foods I had to avoid: sugar and products with added sugar, like table sugar, candies, cookies, cakes and pastries, ice creams. In essence, a lot of the stuff that I love eating. And then alcohol and spirits, which I don't consume often anyway, so no trouble with avoiding those. And then foods to consume less of: caffeine, again, another substance that I don't consume on a regular basis. So no issue with avoiding that as well. Red meat, limit as much as possible, so less than 1 to 2 times a week. We might have eaten like our lean ground beef a bit more than that, but it's fine. Anyway, for a person like me, I mean, you can see, and my therapist that I've been visiting also would say that I really don't need a diet. Um, yeah, and I consider myself very lucky for that because I love eating and I like eating all those processed foods that are delicious. And one thing that I took away from this whole experiment or study is that dieting is not for me. Um, I don't need it, and it also changed my poop. And not in the best way, especially for the first week or so, it was actually like hurting my butt. And it was soft, not quite diarrhea, but almost. So there was that. Yeah, definitely had to do with, I probably wasn't getting as much iron as I usually did. And also throughout the whole study, my biometrics, like my waist size and my weight barely changed. It went up and down just a few pounds. That was it. I really didn't notice any difference in my biometrics. The one major difference that I went through in changing my lifestyle was my poop. And even though throughout the rest of the study, my poop wasn't hurting my butt anymore, but it was still far too softer than it should be. And then, so the day before yesterday, which would have been February 28th, was the last day of the diet. But by then, that night for dinner, we had planned on creamy tomato soup and grilled cheese to like celebrate prematurely the end of my diet. And then the day after, I just started eating normally. Well, I shouldn't say normally. I completely gorged myself on 1.5 bags of chips. I mean like the full size, not party size, but like a good sized bag of chips. I did that, and of course, all the starch made me very sleepy. Well before bed, and the great thing was my poop felt like it was definitely getting back to normal. It was more solid, and I'm very happy now. I get to eat what I want again. The other sides of this study, other than taking these green juices, protein powder, and probiotic, I also was required to exercise for 75 minutes a week and take, I think, 7,000 steps a day, which can be hard for people who have a desk job like me, but I managed, most thankfully due to me getting a Just Dance game for the PS4 that my fiance had brought here. So I got that game in the middle of February. So before then, I was just basically walking around our basement in our house as much as I could. Just walking whenever I could. And I'm glad that they essentially paid me to be more active. I even got this Fitbit because of this study. Really grateful for that, because then it can help me with staying more active even after this study is done, because staying active for me as somebody who suffers from anxiety day in, day out is a really useful tool to help me with dealing with those issues with my anxiety. So that is one thing that I'm not going to be completely abandoning after this study. I want to keep being active. I have my Just Dance game. I love playing Just Dance. It makes me so happy. And I can play it all year round. It doesn't have to be 60, 70 degrees out, which is my optimal air temperature. So, yeah, in addition to all that, I was also asked to do some mindfulness activities like stretching, meditation, or prayer. Also mindful eating, which I haven't necessarily done for the past 48 hours because I've been eating a lot more unhealthy food and kind of like gorging myself on that, kind of trying to get my poop back to normal and also my emotions, I guess. I'm very much an emotional eater, but fortunately, it doesn't happen a whole lot, so I count myself very lucky. Yeah. Oh, that was something that I've been doing this past month. It's been a very interesting experience. I'm not a dieter. I will not go on a diet again unless I'm paid to again. I don't need to go on a diet, and I'm very glad and lucky that that is the case for me. But I will keep exercising. I will keep playing Just Dance because I love it and it's good for me. So, hope you enjoyed my little life update and my experience being on a diet as a 23-year-old young Asian engineering professional who's just trying to get a little extra spending slash saving or investing money. I also want to post some or upload some more videos on financial wellness because this is definitely a journey that I am on and continuing and want to help other young professionals like myself go through as well with more confidence. So, yeah, that's all I got for now, and I will keep you all updated. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye.